Fabric Gems Boutique is a video podcast where we celebrate the art of quilting. Each episode will be packed with inspiring guests from every corner of the quilting world, sharing their best gems of knowledge, creativity, and passion. Whether you're a seasoned quilter or just getting started, there's something here for everyone to help you create your own gem. Discover the hidden gems of quilting. And now, get ready for Fabric Gems Boutique with your host, Chris O'Connor. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Fabric Gems Boutique Podcast. Yep, we've been away for the summer, but it's almost fall, so we are back and ready to roll. And I am so excited to introduce my guest. We met at the Plano Quilt Show a couple weeks ago, and I thought she would be a fabulous guest to share with all of you watching. She's the creative heart behind My Basket of Faith. And she's talented in silk and textile artist who combines her love of color and design with her deep Christian faith. Her mission is to celebrate friendship, inspire faith, and touch people's lives through her art. And let me tell you, she touched mine. I can't wait for you to hear her story and the incredible journey that brought her here. Let me bring her on real quick. Candace, welcome to the show. I am so excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. I am.
I mean, we had such a great time at the quilt show. I actually was booth sitting for one of my friends, which happened to be next to you.
Yep.
And that is exactly how we met. We got to talking, and I just kind of drooled over a lot of her artwork because it's just so creative. I hope you have a few things. I forgot to mention that. I hope you have a few things maybe to show us. But well, we can, always pause this for a moment and then you can go grab it and we'll come back. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right. So, what are you most excited about in My Basket of Faith right now? What's exciting, exploding, happening in your world?
The one thing that I'm constantly shifting my business because I'm listening to I don't even like to call them customers because it's faith-based. I really love the giving that I'm doing and the stories that people are telling me. They'll see a scripture or a text and they'll bring it up to me and it'll be, my sister needs this word. She's going through a struggle right now and she needs this word. But just how all of that kind of means something to people. I think it gives me a lot more responsibility in serving the people who come, but also in growing it and making sure that it's doing what people need it to do. That's what I love the most. And a few months back, I was just doing a regular show and I started doing some I was doing these. And so I had scripture on boards, and this is my hand-dyed silk. And then I have the cross and the gold metallic on there. But people wanted to change the woods. Can I switch that out? And I'm thinking, it's glued. How are you wanting me to do that? And they're like, no, I want to switch it out. I don't have all the room for this. And my mom was in the same boat. And so like, let me think about it. So that's when I thought, well, let me just do magnets because I can take the same boards and then just put a magnet on it. And there you have a magnet. So I started doing that. And I started wanting to really pull my artwork into that. And so I started combining the scriptures with artwork and kind of making some digital ones. So I had a woman come up. She brought me 5 to the register, brought them up, laid them out. And she goes, I need these 5, honey. I said, okay. So I'm ringing them up. She goes, no. I need these in quilt blocks.
Oh.
You need what? They're magnets. I don't know what you want. She goes, no, honey, you need to make these into quilt blocks because in the Christian world, we don't get that. And because this kind of a design, this kind of a message, we don't get it. And I want it.
Brilliant.
Okay. So I kind of thought, I have had my entire corporate career. And then when I started the business, my entire business kind of led from, I don't know how to do that. Let me figure it out.
Right.
Well, this was just another thing I needed to figure out. And so I worked hard and I did. And so I had digital, but I'm doing embossed. So I kind of do the gold work on it and then emboss them. And then I thought, well, that's really does answer and solve the problem of switching them out. So I worked with an artist friend of mine. And so she makes the wood boards. And then these, they just fit right in.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
That
so you
is
can switch them out as your seasons change, as your messes change. And I was absolutely blown away by how many people are doing this for graduates. They're going off to,
really, yeah.
yes, I did not see that coming at all. Because I mean the bases come off obviously, but that way they could hear, I mean, like when my daughter was in college, I could hear her, through the years, needing to be told, needing to be mothered, needing to be guided or whatever, needing a different message. Because it's a very hard time being away. And it's
Mhm.
a very hard
Yeah,
time
especially first year, especially.
going through everything that you're going through and learning and a new people and new everything. Um, and so I could really tell. And so people are like, yeah, I want to be able to just send them another message through the year. Like, that is really amazing. I had never even thought about that. So, but having the words and the message has just meant everything to me on
I
being
love that idea. I love, love, love that idea because, when you're well, even if you're a college student, even if you're just a daughter or a son and you're not close to your family, I mean, I don't mean close, but I mean live close,
yeah,
right? And, sometimes we have really tough days where we have to call our parents, right? Where we want to
yeah,
talk to mom and dad. Well, I, I remember my mom would send me things out of the blue, and it was like almost like the timing was impeccable for whatever it was that she sent. So, what a brilliant idea, Candace.
yeah. I'm really loving how it has taken off. I'm just shocked um, at how it's taken off, and then transferring the magnets into the quilt blocks, and that was amazing. The very first show I did was Carthage, and so I just had the 8 inchers. No, I had 8 and 6, and I probably went there with 150. Which 150 stacks together pretty thin. So it's basically like two little bins.
Yeah.
And so, okay, I was just thinking, this is going to be great. This is going to be wonderful. It's finally going to be a product that's just going to sell like banshees. This is great. I sold 13.
Oh,
Yeah. And I was like, okay, maybe this was a mistake. Wow. Whole 13 in 2 days. Wow. This is bad. This is not going to end well. I've spent so much money reshifting the company again and all the work that I did to create all of these different designs. And, my brain starts to listen to all the negativity and all of that
oh, yeah.
rather than, just trusting. And so I went to the next show. I thought, no, I've got to move forward with this. So I did the 4 inchers and I did a few more designs, got those up. And in the next 4 shows, let's see, what am I up to? Little over 550
Wow.
in 4 shows. So just amazing how people are wanting that word and they're wanting the designs to be able to blend with the fabric and their projects and everything that they're already doing. But they
Absolutely.
have that bird with a message. Um,
It gives each person their solace, right? I mean, we all have a little comfort zone, and the word really does comfort so many of us. And it doesn't have to be a lot of words. It can be just a sweet, short little saying, and to remind us to, have the faith, right?
Yeah.
We live in a really crazy world, and I could only imagine what my parents thought too. They thought we lived in a really crazy world.
Yeah.
And
And
now we're
I,
that age thinking we live in a really crazy world.
and I think it's empowering. I mean, when I first started 10 years ago, oh gosh, it's more than that now, 12 years ago. And I was doing actually knitwear and weaving. And I would go to shows and I would actually incorporate crosses into my weavings and that kind of stuff. And then as I progressed into doing full scriptures and the fames and all of that, if I had things in my booth that was Christian, and then when I changed my company name to my Basket of Faith, I would see people literally walk over and go, "Oh, that's Christian stuff now." And they would walk on. And being, I at first I would take it very offensively. And then I was like, well, that's okay. They're not my customer.
Right.
And then I thought, well, that's really sad that it's not an issue of the customer. It's an issue and a purpose of I need to be sharing his message with as many people as possible so that that person doesn't walk in as a moot point.
Right.
The people
Yeah.
who do walk in are the ones that need just feeding. And I had some people that walked in and oh my gosh, it was an older lady, probably in her 80s, very tiny. And she walked in, she spent probably, oh my gosh, 20 minutes just looking and reading almost every scripture going around. And I'm thinking, oh, she is really trying to find that special message for that special person. This is going to be great. I can't wait. I hope she buys a lot. I was just like, ka-ching, 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 And she walked up and she goes, "Thank you for feeding me." And she,
Wow.
and I was just like, I gifted her. Like, wow. And it's like, no, no, you just gifted me. You gifted me. And so that I think that is one of the reasons why I push so hard. Wow, this is emotional. Stop it.
No, it's real. It's real. It is emotional. This is
And
emotional.
yeah, and there's been so many times when financially it's been hard. But my husband's just like, no, the Lord's gifted you to do this. We need to keep figuring it out. We need to
Yep.
keep moving it forward. We need to keep figuring it out. And I have had several times when it's like, if this doesn't work, I'm going to call it quits at the end of the year. If I can't get a big cash payday, it's got to, it has to go. And it was so interesting because I was at one show and I was definitely on that, this has to go. I'm old. I'm hauling stuff. I'm setting up. I'm tearing down. It's hard on the body. It's like, no, this has to change. Something's got to give. And I was really, in my mind at that point, and I was just sitting there at the show and I was just like, Lord, seriously, you gotta do something. And embarrassingly, he didn't even allow me to wallow for 5 minutes. I mean, he just was like less than a minute. Customer comes in. She comes in. She immediately plants herself in front of me at the register. She goes, I just wanted you to know I bought from you last time. I gave it to my sister for her birthday because she was going through the cancer treatments and she loved it. It meant so much to her. I can't stay. I've got to go, but I just wanted you to know that. and she takes off. And I'm just like, oh Lord, that is just like, you don't even let me wallow in my hanging me. What are you doing? Very next person that comes in, I mean, like not even 30 seconds after that, woman comes in and she looks at my silk Nora crosses. And
And they are
I went
beautiful.
over there, thank you. I went over there to explain to her what they were and everything. She goes, I know I bought from you about 2 years ago. And she goes, I want you to know it means so much to me. It is the last thing I look at. It's right by my bedside. It's the last thing I look at and pray on when I go to sleep. It is the first thing I see when I open my eyes and I pray.
Aw,
Like,
I love
oh,
that.
Lord. She leaves. Didn't buy anything. Another lady comes in with her two daughters and a stroller, comes right in and goes right to my pen holders. And so she's looking at them, and I go over to explain them. And she goes, I know I have two. I bought them. I saw that you were at this show, and so I brought my daughters. I want them to get one. Okay. Well, and then we have to leave. So you came just to get, yes, we saw that you were in here, and so we came. In my mind, I was like, it costs $15 to get in the show. You came just to get this and leave. And they did. They each bought one and they left. And I was just like, thank you, Lord, for reminding me that what I am doing, I have to be able to make sure that the focus is on what is giving to people.
Yes.
If I can do that, the rest will be okay.
Yeah.
And I think when I really embraced that, things started doing better because I wasn't so focused on the dollar. I have to make X dollar of sales. It was, I have to be able to create the best product that is meaningful and quality.
Well, the money will come when that happens, and you're starting to see that, I believe. Uh,
Yeah.
and especially with your plaques with the magnets and, I mean, it's brilliant, that you came up with that. Whether it's your idea, your friend's idea, a collaboration, husband's involved, doesn't matter. You guys came up with it, and it's a fabulous idea. I've never seen anything like it personally.
Yeah.
But
And
I
I
don't see a lot of your stuff.
that. And I wish more people would be able to do that. I think that's one reason why they're selling so well, and even my quilt blocks, because what I absolutely love hearing is when somebody walks in and
Mhm,
I've never seen that before. Like,
mhm.
and you won't because it's not bought from China. It's not, it's handmade,
Yeah,
handmade.
yeah.
Takes a little longer to make than a click of a button on Amazon.
Right. Well, and you'll spend a little bit more money on it too, but that's
Yeah.
me personally, I prefer that. I like unique gifts. I like things that are different that you can't go buy in a store per se. And give it as a gift. To me, it kind of loses its meaning. But that's just me personally. It's kind of like all these being a small business myself, right? Um, and people just love Timu. I absolutely hate Timu. I would never spend a dime with Timu. You're
There.
taking money out of our businesses, small business. And I don't think people really understand that because why do you think a lot of our businesses are closing? Because you're going to Amazon and Temu and all these other places. And we have a joy of sharing our things, yours, mine, whatever. And it makes it hard sometimes to compete with that. So I understand that. I really do. That getting down to that level, like, which way do I go?
Yeah.
Am I going right? Am I going left? Or I'm staying on the course, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that the profit margins are a lot smaller. And I happen to be fortunate where I don't rely on my business for my mortgage. I'm very thankful and grateful for that. But I know a lot of people are.
Mhm.
And it's like, yeah, you really need to be able to support that local business. You really need to be able to um, do that. But I also look at other businesses where, I'm thinking of this one person in mine, and she has done the exact same business model, the exact same everything for several years. And it's like, well, your booth isn't inviting. And how are you pulling me? And I just keep looking at things differently. If you're doing the same thing and you're expecting different results,
Right. It doesn't work.
it doesn't work.
No.
And especially when, even just because you're handmade, you're not grandma's, garage sale. You have to still have business. And I started following Marcus Lemonis. Amazing man. He was started years ago, had the show The Prophet, and not the religious prophet, but the financial prophet. And he would buy, and still does, buys companies and looks at their financials and says, okay, how can we scale this up? How can you do different things? Let me teach you about business. And it's amazing because it's also kind of one of those instructional shows. So he'll talk to these individuals about a decision that they're making or whatever, and then it'll slip and he's talking to the camera, and he's like, well, let's talk about why this is an important decision for business. Now you have this, and he literally teaches it and breaks it down in a respectful business language to people that never went to business school. I didn't go to business school. I didn't go to retail school. I don't know what any of that stuff is, but as a business owner, I really have to learn anywhere that I can, and I have to be able to incorporate that into my business. Um, I mean, even the small things. If you're
Oh,
80% of the population is right-handed, when you walk into a store or a show or whatever, you walk to the right. We've been trained to do that.
yep.
So, in my 10 by 10 booth, whatever is that first thing on the right has to scream what I want you to buy,
Yep.
what I want you to see and to focus on, and my most important product right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I've tried, I mean, I know I didn't in Plano because I'm normally on the far left side, which means I would have been on the concrete and wouldn't have been able to talk to anybody. But normally it's like, even learning from others, like constantly learning social media, constantly learning how do you do different things. It's just something that's important for all of us to know and for us to constantly be working on. So I'm the person that says, I haven't done a social media post in about a year. I'm the first one to tell you. Oh, I know they're important. I know you have to do it. I am one body. And like yourself, a single business owner doing everything, it's just hard. You have to be able to pick and choose what you are going to be able to spend your time on.
Right. Well, it's really how you make your schedule. And that's what I try to help a lot of businesses do, right? Is how to make your schedule. And when you create your schedule, so, and I say this, and maybe I've said this on other podcasts too, and I will always say this because I grew a business from 0 to 1.6 million. Let me tell you, I found I didn't know anything when I first started. I had no clue. And I always laugh at this because when I started that business, I thought the easiest part was really going to be hiring employees. I really did. Okay. Well, talk about ignorance. That was ignorance number one, right? I thought the marketing and all that other stuff was going to be operations going to be really, really hard. No, it wasn't hard for me. It was very simple for me, but I had to learn like you and follow people who have done it before me, who are very good at what they're doing and follow their example. And when you follow their example, it's amazing what can transpire. And the biggest thing that I tell business owners, which I think is so important, is we schedule appointments for everything in our life, right? For the doctor, for take the dog to, we schedule dinners out, we schedule this, that, and that. Why don't you, as a business owner, schedule 1 hour a week? That's all I'm asking. to sit down and write some social media posts. Today's world, it's a whole lot easier, and I can teach a lot of people how to do it. However, if you don't schedule it, you won't do it.
Yeah. And I think I get caught in the when I was in corporate America, you know, those annoying people that they're on everybody on all the products, and they're on all the projects, and they're the golden child, and they're
Yes.
a personality, you
Yep.
know.
Yep.
Yeah, that was me. And I mean, they were creating positions for me, and I was getting raises and bonuses. I mean, every year I had a new job, just constantly going up. But I never had control of anybody. So, and I learned really on that I've got to be able to really coordinate and work with other people. I had so many projects and stuff going on that I knew that scheduling issue was the critical thing. I would live or die by my success because I could schedule.
Yep.
And I created my own calendars so I could organize and keep everything done. But the crazy thing was when I realized that I had amazing block times to do things because I had a meeting coming up. And so I would block an hour to do this. I'm just going to get as much done out on that task as I can because I have a meeting coming up and stuff.
Yep.
When I went to working from home as a handmade fiber artist, textile, yeah, all that went out the window. And it has been the hardest thing for me to kind of go back to. Is that block time,
That
because
structure. Mhm.
yeah, that structure, because when I would be making something, I couldn't stop in the middle of the dyeing process. I couldn't really stop in the middle of the weaving process because it actually does affect your tightness of your weaves and stuff. You've got to be able to just go with your rhythm. And so I would work hours, you know, on the same thing. And it really has been, I think, my number one problem is not the scheduling, because I can schedule it, but it's the adhering to the schedule. So what strategies do you recommend, or do you suggest and work with people on to being able to break that pattern of I just work until I don't want to work anymore on that project or that task or that making, help me out.
Usually when you're doing a task, whether you're with your silk or whatever you're doing, right? It's what you love to do,
Yeah.
right? Okay. It's the other part that you don't love to do, right? Usually.
Yeah.
So, so what I have learned with myself too is I do the part I don't love to do first before I get involved in anything else. And so I do that part first, whatever it may be, sitting down for the first part of the hour of your day. I don't care what time it is. It's your day. You get to decide what your day looks like, right? So let's say you want to start your day at 10 o'clock. So from 10 to 11, you get that done. You write 5 posts, you get them set up on the schedule, and it automatically puts them out for you. You're done with it. Then you're like, okay, I am free to create and do exactly what I absolutely love to do. It's a discipline. It's hard to get into that. But if you really want to grow and you really want people to see more of what you have to put yourself out there. You have to show people what you're all about. And sometimes, I don't know if you do any videos of you creating. People love watching you create. They love the process, you know, and that's as simple as putting up a camera and start small, start somewhere and using that as your social media because people will just eat that up. Do you have a newsletter that you send out to people? People want to know what's new and what's exciting and what's happening. automation has really come a long way, and creating the content to put into these things used to take me a half a day or a day, depending on what the client was looking for. Now it takes me about 30 minutes. And it just is brilliant. And it's AI. I know a lot of people are afraid of it,
Oh,
but I absolutely love it. And I show people how to use it properly, because that's why a lot of people don't like it, because they don't understand it and they don't use it properly and they think it's a waste and blah, blah, blah. It's really not. If you're not moving into it, you're going to hurt yourself in business. And I don't care how small you are or how big you are. It's here to stay. It's kind of like, somebody was describing it like cell phones, like the iPhone. So there used to be iPhone 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and what are they up to? 16 now? I think I'm still at 13. I think they're 16 or something like that now. So, it's kind of what AI is. It's the interrupter. It's at the beginning of the stages, and it's changing constantly. Almost every day there's something new. I mean, you think about ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok, or they have new phases. Like Chat is on 5 now. It used to be on 1, right?
yeah.
So that's kind of how you get yourself set up, is doing the thing you don't like doing the most, the first, getting it out of the way, doing your best at what you need to do, and then move on to what you love. Then you don't have to stress, oh, I really need to do that. I really need to do that. I know I need to do that. Please don't tell me I need to do that, because I already know I need to do that. I hear these kind of things from clients all the time. Please don't tell me I need to do that. I don't want to do that. Okay. Well, then of course, then they hire me. But the point is, if you want to do it yourself, you have to find a way in your schedule once a week. Really, you could do a lot in that hour. I know when I ran that other business, there was a time where I told my girls out front who answered the phones, unless you're dead or bleeding, don't bother me.
Yeah.
Because I would shut my door, and I had a window, and they, and I'd be, no, 1 hour. And it's amazing when you have no cell phones, no emails, no dings, no nothing, how much you can get done in that 1 hour. You'd be so surprised. Most people would be very surprised. Maybe you've already done it. You obviously did it in the corporate world, right? So you obviously know, because you talked about it.
Yeah.
But
My favorite day was Monday, because everybody else was dealing with their emails and all of that. And I knew I could get concentrated time.
Mhm.
And my second favorite day of the world was the day before a holiday.
Yes.
I knew everybody was gone.
Yep.
So nobody was going to be calling me.
Yep. Yep.
Stuff done. It's
So
that
you just got to turn the tables a little bit for yourself, really, honestly, and be that person again. But who's interrupting you now? Your art's interrupting you. Your dog might be interrupting you. Your husband might be interrupting you. Who's interrupting you to prevent you from doing what you really know you need to do? Or
I think it's the little kid that says, I don't want to, and you can't make me.
if you're happy with that, perfect.
That's so true. Because in textiles, you have this amazing creative process.
Yes.
And I've started getting into the AI, and I do Copilot, because Copilot allows you to download or upload a picture.
They all
And
do.
you get the instruction of, give me a product description.
Mhm.
And so then I did a oh gosh, one of those right when AI just came out a long time ago, and they had that free 30-minute work, got thing. I did that, and it was simply, if you can ask the right question, you can get amazing answers. You get the
Yes.
question wrong, you will be guided in a wrong direction.
Yes.
And so I used to write, part of what I did at corporate was asking questions and analyzing data. And so it's like, yeah, if I want the answers that I want, to find out, then I actually have to step back and go, what is my question? And I have
Yes.
to structure that question correctly. Now I need to, and then that taught me I need to actually take a step back and give instruction to AI as to how to look at that question.
Yes.
And when I started doing that, it was like, woo, it's giving me pretty stuff to write down. So now I get to go back. And I even did some analysis on my products, which was great because then I could look at it and go, okay, I have all of these products now, very wide breadth of products. They're not very financially successful because I can't bring all of them to a show. And I'm not getting the traction online because I'm not um doing that massive, Facebook and Pinterest and all of that. So I'm not getting the traction there. My fault, not the world's. So I have to be able to step back and go, okay, I need to specialize in something. I need to eliminate these other products. I need to specialize and focus on something. And then I need to rewrite my website to support that. And now I need to be able to move forward. So I was kind of like in the middle of all of doing this when the issue of the quilt blocks and the quilt club came into play. And so that was something that it was like, okay, here's my time management problem again of where do I put my time? And I'm the kind of person that and part of this is from my parenting to probably corporate America, but you never go forward until you have all your ducks in a row, which you don't need that anymore.
You've never needed it. It was programmed very wrong, and
Yeah.
nobody has ever needed it. So I'm glad you brought that up because I really want people to understand. Maybe some of our listeners or watchers out there are wondering, I really want to start a business, but I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have.
Yeah.
Okay, well, guess what? Look at me. I don't have a podcast studio and a fancy little studio. If you could see my small little room that I'm in, and I have a backdrop, um, you know, not fancy, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You've got to start somewhere. And
Yeah.
I promise you, it will get better and it will get better and it will get better. And you have seen that. And I want people to understand that. Just start where you are. It doesn't matter. Make that first step to go after your dream because in your soul, it comes back to faith. In your soul,
Yeah.
that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. But it's amazing when I was working for a business, I wanted to be able to make sure that they shine. I wanted to be able to make sure that we had the best of the best and that, you know, that mentality of how can you build it better, stronger, faster,
Yes.
but empowering people and getting
Yeah.
everybody's excited about it, all of that stuff. And I was absolutely loved doing that. But I also we had never done anything like that before. And so it was always a constant learning, always a constant, well, what if? I mean, my favorite question in the world is why. My second favorite is why not? And so I was always willing and able to challenge that. And I knew that, you know, if it didn't work and it didn't work out, I wasn't going to get fired. I was supported. And so, we're like, woof, learn that. Okay, shifting. And, you just shifted. Or we did this and, wow, was that great? That's awesome. Let's go. Let's go. I know, transferring into being your own boss, there's nobody above you.
No.
So it's that constant, um, I just need that invisible supervisor that I have to make sure that I know is that I want to make sure that I am impressing them, that I am beating my budgets, that I am beating my deadlines, that my productivity is beyond that, all of that is there. But when it came to I'm working for myself, I think a lot of the I don't want to be a failure kind of comes on. And when I was in corporate America, it never mattered because I never considered anything a failure if I learned something from it.
Right. Right.
And so it's like, wow, we learned that we can't do that. Learned that that doesn't work. Okay, what's the next one? Um,
So I think, just
left
not
with
to interrupt you, but I think probably some of what's seeping into your business now is still that mentality from the corporate world. And the corporate world is very, very different than the business world.
yeah,
Okay. And I have worked both of them. I understand exactly that mentality is very, very different. And so sometimes it's hard to move that mentality into the business world, even though you know what you think you should be doing, you still question yourself. So you're letting your ego kind of get in the way,
yeah.
of saying, no, who do you think you are? Why do you think you're doing that? You
I
don't
think
need to
it's
be
like
doing that.
somebody. I think when I was working for somebody else, I always knew that, and it was weird because I always had
You're going to get that pat on the shoulder.
a pat on the shoulder, but because I always had a lot of autonomy and I never needed that pat on the shoulder because I understood what the vision was. But it was just kind of like yeah, we're on the right path, right? Got it, going. And you just, that little check, we're good. Okay, we're good. Yeah, we're good. Okay, we're good. Just that checking in that, we're okay, right? And
Yeah.
when you are your own, you're looking for somebody to give you that.
Yeah.
And I think I have only learned in the last probably year, and probably mostly, I swear to you, in the last 6 months, that the turning around and going is right. Got it. Is that what we're on the right way? Right. I can't be looking. It's not that I shouldn't be looking for somebody, but that I can't waste my time.
Well, I think you just answered your question.
Yeah, I've got to be able to look at myself and going, is that the right decision for me, for my business right now? It may be different 10 minutes, 2 years from now, but
Right.
right now, is that the right decision? Good. I'm going with it.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
having me trust in myself rather than making sure that somebody else is trusting me. It's like, no, I got to be able to have the trust in myself. Yeah. Yeah. And it really frustrates me because when I was at the Plano show and I had the Quilt Block Club and I was explaining it to people, I wanted from the very beginning to set it up as like a discount club. And you would get a code every month. No, I'm sorry, not every month, but every other month. And you would be able to get 4 foot blocks, $16. There you go. And so I joined a subscription club course. And through the trainings and the Facebook group and coursework that I did, no, that's not how you do it. You have a project and you mail that same project out to everybody, and you do it every month, and everybody gets the same thing. That way, financially, you can prep it up ahead of time and then you just pop it out. Well, and that makes a lot of sense, except for a quilter, that's a lot of blocks. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of projects that you think you're sending to me and you think I got time to do that? What? And I don't like birds. Why are you sending me birds? I mean, I wanted to do that. You could pick out what you wanted to do because you know who you want. There's a message on each of mine. There's a Christian message. And
Yeah.
if you want to be able to give that message to your friend, I wanted you to be able to do that. And so that's how I wanted to set it up at the beginning. And what I got response in all 5 of the little mini focus groups that just kind of happened was, yeah, I want to pick out my own. And so it's like, okay, is that more work for me? 100%. Absolutely. 100% more work for me. Is that better for you? And is that getting the message out, which is my purpose of the business? Yeah, it is. So why am I listening to other people? Why am I turning around and looking to other people to go, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? No, I don't. It's my business, my way.
That's right. And here's the thing is I've taken those maybe it was from the same one, but I don't think so because they would not have told you that that's the way you had to do it. They would have told you, you do what you feel is best the way you want to do it, but let me help you guide why you should do certain things the way that we do, right?
Yeah.
And you know, if you're not having fun at it, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, period. You make beautiful items and you want to teach others to make these same beautiful items. Well, I don't maybe have the same tastes as you, or
Yeah.
the same colors as you, or the same whatever as you, but I do love your work. So how do we work together? Yes. You
Yeah.
give them 2 or 3 to choose from. They choose what they want. Away you go. And now you know what you need to create for that particular, there'll be more than one, obviously. But the point is, yes, listen to your gut, listen to your intuition. If there's one thing that I learned over these past 30 years, that I didn't listen to my intuition enough,
Yeah.
enough. And I think that you have so much gold to give people. The beauty of your artwork, the beauty of it all. I think people need to see more of it. And people do like to try. They like to do these things. They like to create. They like to, especially as older senior women. I've never called myself a senior woman, but I'm a senior woman, right? Um, we do like to try new things and step out a little bit of our comfort zone of what we've always done, right?
Yeah.
And because you never know, I've heard so many stories about people who turn artists in their 80s and 70s and make such beautiful things. And, why not? I personally think you should step out and go after exactly how you wanted to do with the quilt blocks. Design it the way that you want. Will you have to tweak it some? I bet we've even got some viewers who would probably want to be a part of that quilt block. And, I think it's exciting that you have the abilities to make it in faith.
Yeah. I think that's
And whoever said that to you in your booth, if it was in Plano, she is, or wherever, what doesn't matter. She is absolutely right. It isn't out there. It is not out there. So why not put it out there? Why not?
yeah.
Right? Well, we've talked about a lot of things.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here? I mean, what you have upcoming shows, you got events, opportunities. What are you preparing for? Holidays are coming.
Oh my gosh. I have 3 shows. Yeah, I've got Brian show on 9, 12 and 13. We got the San Antonio show coming. That's what is that? September 26th and 27th. Then Granbury. That's October 17th and 18th. I am going to do a show in Bryan in November, and it's just not a quilt show. It's going to be a craft show from the Texas Market Guide. And that one, I am going to listen to my intuition, listen to what I've learned through my own data analysis, and go, these products I'm no longer making anymore. I need to do that, get rid of them. So I'm actually having a discontinued sale.
Nice.
I'll just do that at an event. So all my Christian frames, that are in the black frames, I'm no longer making anymore. Like $10. Have the message go forth, $10, and let's just move on. I do need to be making some videos. I sell the color hue dyes, and that's why I do my demos on is the color hue dyes for all my silks. But I love teaching so much. When I was in corporate America, one of the jobs I had at one time was a corporate trainer. So I needed to be able to teach people not only the what and the how, but the why. Because I don't calling me, asking me because I don't have time. I'm going to be in another class and all that. So I learned those teaching skills very well.
Right.
And I absolutely love teaching people how to be able to create all this really cool stuff, designs, their own designs with them. I do a lot of silk classes, and people are amazed that they can walk in and an hour and a half later, they're walking out with their own scarf. They don't have to have a steam. They don't have to have it, all this expense. They're walking out with it themselves. Um, but I'm doing videos to support the people that have bought the kits so that they understand it. Cause it's like, you can come to my class, but I need you to be able to see this as many times as you can. So you need to schedule the videoing days of for those because I have two videos, one technical, and then the other one the creating the designs. So I've got to do that. I was looking at October being able to release those, and then I'll have a YouTube course for my kind of detailed, my high end um, designs.
Good for you. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Now, you teach classes in class as well?
Yes. And normally it's like groups. Like a church will have a group or a reunion or that kind of
Do you
thing.
not video any of that?
I don't um because the I you mean for marketing purposes or
Yeah. I mean, it's a golden opportunity. It's
I
a
have
golden.
pictures. Yeah, I have pictures of them, but I don't like videotape them because I'm so in the moment of making sure everybody has an amazing experience and amazing, because they're there making their creations and I want them to be able to do it the best. So I'm all into them.
So, and that's fine. And that's absolutely fine. There are tools out there that you can put your phone on a stand or a camera on a stand and it'll follow you. And you don't even know that it's there. It just follows you. And then you use some of those outtakes. I mean, they're not all going to be great, but you can use that footage for, maybe teaching some one step of your process or the second step or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
Even showing people. I mean, it's amazing the tools that are out there to help you do that, and they're not that expensive, like $30 or $50.
yeah.
They're not
And
hundreds of dollars that they used to be.
yeah, and that's what I'm actually enjoying, and I'm looking forward to doing in my studio is just teaching on the dyeing process and being able to truly take the time to teach you and not have to be worried about I got to get through this because there's only so much time in the class that
Yeah.
have a longer video and I know that if you don't understand it you can rewind it.
Right,
So
right, absolutely. I rewind videos all the time because I think, "What did I hear?
yeah,
Did I hear that right? Or that didn't make sense. What did she say?
yeah,
Or what did he say?"
yeah.
Yes.
And for my silks I really wanted people, I mean when I started stretching from being doing my fashion line and all of that and having to shift out of that, I wanted to be able to do more sewing and I wanted to be able to do more home decor and such with silk because it's not a scary animal. It's just not. And too many people are just scared of silk as a textile. And I wanted to be able to show people you can sew with this, throw an interface with it, and you're good to go. So I kind of went into that direction of sewing a lot with silk. Um, and so it's kind of like level two or phase two of the videos is teaching people how to sew with silk and doing different projects.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm intimidated by silk because it's so slippery.
Yeah. And see, and that's why once you hit it with an interface, it's as solid as cotton.
Yeah.
There's no difference whatsoever. And you don't do
No.
anything different.
Well, and I think silks of today may be a better quality than they were of yesteryear.
Well, but there's over 200 different types of silk.
Oh,
Yeah. I didn't know that either.
okay.
When I got into dyeing the silks and everything, it was just huge learning. Um, and I was absolutely amazed. And it's like there's that delicate silk, and then there's the hardy silk, and then there the you can run a car over it silk, and it will be fine. So I mean, I think so many people are used to this, and they
Mm.
learned it.
Got a bad rap. It's got a bad rap. Yeah.
Yep.
So my next question, I'm assuming, I always hate to use that word, but that beautiful scarf around your neck is one you created?
Yes, this is one of my fake scarves. All of my, and that's actually how I started even with any of my silks. I started with the faith skills. So they have 3 crosses in the design for the Trinity. And then I have a very specific prayer ritual that I follow when I make them. When I'm making the first cross, I give the thanks and praise to the Lord, because you give God your first. And then the second one, when I make the second cross, I'm asking for his son, that what the person that's receiving the scarf, not the one that's buying it, but the one that's receiving the scarf and wearing the scarf, that whatever their needs are, that they will be fulfilled according to his will, not our will, but his will. And then the third one, when I make the third cross, I just allow the Holy Spirit to take over my prayer. And some are really detailed, others are very whimsical. But I mean, they can be detailed on, somebody dying, forgiveness. I mean, it's just been all over the place. But I asked him one time to allow me to know if my prayers actually even made a difference. Because, at that time, I was making probably about 400 or 500 scarves to go to a show. Because that's all I did was make the scarves. And so a lot of scarves. A lot of scarves.
That's a lot of scarves.
A lot of scarves. So anyway, I asked him, I mean, how would I know if the person who actually received this scarf truly needed that blessing or whatever? How would I know? And why would I mean, it's none of my business to know either. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing this anyway, my prayer ritual. I'm going to do that. I think it's important. A few weeks later, I was like, Lord, if you could show me sometime if it truly actually does make a difference, I'd really appreciate that. I don't know how you'd show me, but hey, I'd like to know. So I was making another batch of them, and I made this incredible teal color, a new color tone. I'd never gotten that color tone before. Made it, and I was doing spirals with black. And oh my gosh, when I was making spirals, I mean, I was like OCD on making sure that you could see absolutely the entire swirl of that spiral. I was OCD about it. And I had like 9 of them in there. So I'm done. Everything looks good. I pull it off. I iron it. I look at it. Not one of them was without blemish. All of them came out wrong. And you could not see the whole spiral.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, chemically, that's impossible. What was that? How does that happen? And I was worried and upset that maybe it was something that I did. And then I remembered the prayer, the Holy Spirit prayer was, trust me, even though you don't see me. And I was just like, that's actually kind of eloquent, Lord. That actually is eloquent. And right when I said that, I just got this wave of make another identical. Don't move anything. Because normally when I would make batches, I would kind of shift around the spirals so every single one would be unique. Well, okay, I didn't, because I'd learned obedience the hard way. So I made another one identical. And the weird thing was this unique turquoise color, kind of tealy turquoise color that I had. I had enough to just finish it.
Wow.
It's spirals. I processed it again. And again, that one, same thing. Same thing happened with the spirals. And I was just like, this is freaky. Okay. Moved it on, made a whole bunch more of different things. Went to a show, the wholesale show, about 3 weeks after that. So woman comes in, she's buying several. She probably has about 30, 40 in her hand. All of a sudden she stops, beelines it to one of these, picks it out and says, oh my gosh, this is my daughter's color. This is so amazing. This is great. Oh my gosh. And I'm thinking, I actually know what that prayer is. Do I tell her? Do I not? Do I tell her? My daughter is having an issue. I keep telling her, you have to trust him even though you don't see him.
Oh, mind blowing.
Oh, and I'm thinking, do I tell her? Do you have another one identical? They're twins and they dress alike. Oh, and I was like, yes, it was clear over here because I purposely put them separately because of the color tone. And so I told her about it. We laughed, we cried, we prayed. And I was just like, okay, Lord, thank you for showing me that there is a purpose to my prayers in all of this. There is blessings that are moving forward. There is purpose in every cross. I cannot look at my ministry here as a cash dollar value.
No. Yeah.
I have to be able to look at it as how many crosses are moving forward because those are people touch, you know.
So I have another question for you. I can assume, but I don't want to do that. Do you go to guilds and speak, and do you share and do you teach, so because so many guilds have workshops, 1 day, 2 day workshops. Do you do any of that?
I do. It depends on though how far away they are and such. But yeah, I absolutely do.
We need to let people know that because I think it'd be a great class to be involved in. To do the lecture for their meeting, and then, well, at least in Plano, I don't know how everybody else's works around the state of Texas, but in Plano, you have the Thursday night meeting, and then we have the workshop Friday and Saturday, or just a Friday or just a Saturday, depending on what you want to do. If it can be done in 1 day, or it needs to be 2 days, or you could do two different things, one thing 1 day and a different thing the second day. But that's great to know. For all of you people who are into guilds and going to guilds, and you're struggling to find something new, and why not bring Candace in? Why not?
What I always wanted to be able to do is have like the not like a full retreat or anything, but like one part of you're dyeing your silk, and part two is you're making something from your silk. Because like this. I just emptied out my basket. Like this is a folding basket. So it folds up, and just like this is a hardy. It's just like cotton. You're not gonna hurt it. You're not gonna do anything. You can I make journals and everything else, baskets, anything that you can sew regular, you can sew this.
Nice.
And being able to have somebody to not be afraid, because we are. That it's like that first time you do anything, you get a little scared and it's not gonna turn out perfect. And I was like, yeah.
We're not perfect. There's only one perfect person I can't even call him a person. There's only one perfect spirit in the whole wide world, and we're not it. And if you think that everything needs to be perfect, think again.
Yeah.
So we are running close to time, and I want to ask you one last question.
Yes.
What encouragement or piece of wisdom would you like to leave with our listeners today, especially those pursuing their own creative or faith-filled dreams? What would you say to them?
I would say you have to make a decision. And when you make that decision, you have to commit to that decision. And the decision you have to commit is, am I going to move forward? Yes or no? And if you want to move forward, you have to do it trusting yourself.
Mm.
And that has been a hard lesson that I have learned. Definitely you have to trust yourself, because when you're constantly doing this, looking for somebody else to tell me I'm doing it right, you're wasting so much mental energy, so much doubt you're allowing in. And right when you allowing that doubt, everybody else's negativity is going to go at it. It really doesn't matter, because they don't pay your bills. You pay your bills. So make a decision. Am I moving forward or not? If you want to move forward, then move forward. If you don't want to move forward and you'd rather have a hobby than a business, then make that decision, and it's okay. It is okay to have a hobby. You don't have to have a business. If you want to have a business, you need to know your numbers. I'm sorry. You have to know your numbers. You have to know Excel forwards and backwards. You have to understand and be willing to deal with data. What is that price I need to add to be charging for that? I need to add in all these expenses, yes, and my labor, and oh yes, and I need to add the credit card processing charge, and I need to add an admin charge because it's all this administrative costs that we have, and we have to. Oh, I want profit. I need to add that in now. Ooh, it's not just can I make my booth fee,
Right.
because you make your booth fee, you've lost a lot of money.
Yes, you have.
And so many people starting off don't understand that. So
No.
learn your numbers, know your numbers, love your numbers. That means you're in a business.
I think it's great advice. I think the problem is most people, which I think is your number one, is make a decision because I think most people have the most difficult time making a decision. It doesn't matter what the decision is. Don't stress over what it is.
Yeah.
Just make the decision. Now, here's the nice thing. After you make that decision and you go on with the decision you made and you committed to it and you find out down the road this wasn't maybe the right decision, you can make a different decision. That's the nice thing about life and nice thing about working for yourself and nice about crafting. Because do we love the same craft for 50 years? Most
No.
people. I haven't met anybody that's done the same craft for 50 years.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. There's always something new and exciting that you might want to jump into. If that's the case, go for it, right?
Yeah. And we all make changes to our business. We make changes to our decision. I mean, we do that. If you've never even worked in corporate America, you've done that because, you've somebody got hurt at 10 o'clock in the morning and now your day's been shifted. And you had to deal with little Johnny and, the neighbor next door and oh, the furnace broke and all this other stuff. So
Yeah.
can we make changes to our day based on the decisions and information we have right now? Yeah. And do we need to change them tomorrow? Yeah. And I love yours though, is that you know, it's not just creating a schedule. Because trust me, I create my own calendars. I created my own everything because, yep, I was anal about all that stuff. But okay, you got to adhere to it. And you've got to be able to be willing to trick yourself into being that supervisor that you kept turning around and saying, "Oh, is he gonna see me not working? Is she gonna comment to me that I'm doing something I
Well,
shouldn't?"
maybe we're playing on our phone instead of doing our silking, or maybe we're playing on our phone and doing that scroll thing instead of writing those posts, or maybe we're talking to our best friend, having a good time, you know? I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think the other thing too is finding that support
yes,
because it is very isolating.
yes.
Um, I was in a course that I took several years ago, over 5 years ago, and they had an accountability group that you could all split up into. And so there were 8 of us that were in this accountability group, and we would get on Zoom once a week. Well, that actually converted because then we didn't like doing that, and so we got on Marco Polo or Marco. Is it called Marco Polo?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with
Yeah,
it.
it's an app. Hold on, because I really do. Um, yeah, Marco Polo. There's a free version and a regular version, and it looks just like that.
Hmm.
And you can actually leave videos for each other. So words of encouragement, all of that. Find your group, even if you have to contact people and say, you know what, I've noticed on Facebook that you're doing this. I'm doing something similar to that. Would you mind? Can we, you know, have an accountability group? Because that silent accountability is what we're looking for that supervisor for, but it's not that. It's bouncing off. It's verbally talking to a camera. I make a video every morning and I say, "Good morning, ladies. How you doing?" And after 5 years, there's still 5 of us in there. Okay. Okay, this is what I'm doing today to move my business forward today.
Mhm.
Some days I'm not doing anything.
Right.
But today I'm doing this and this and this. And we talk back and forth and hey, I've got an issue. My Shopify isn't doing it. Who's got Shopify? Da 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 da. And it's that support mechanism that we can be honest with each other. We can encourage each other. We can scream and shout and just be frustrated and have all of those real emotions and it be okay.
Yeah.
It's that safety okay. So we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to have it all together.
No.
We
Yeah,
just have to start.
I think it's a great thing that you're involved in that, and I think more small business owners need to understand they should be involved in something like that too, because you need mentors, you need supporters, you need guiders, you need, a shoulder to cry on or whatever, because there are days. I mean, I can remember in the last business I was in, there are days where I wanted to pull my hair out. I just, oh my gosh.
And we, as
Yeah.
women, we isolate ourselves
Yes.
because we don't feel like we can show weakness.
Well, we're supposed to be strong, right? We have to be tough. We can't be weak.
Yeah. And I don't want anybody to know that my show didn't go as well as I'd hoped. I don't want anybody to know that, my product isn't really selling. I don't want anybody to know that, I don't like this product, but I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to change it. So grab a couple of women. And that's the other thing. You want to be able to contact women that you see in Facebook that maybe you have nothing in common. Well, they don't do any quilting at all. So what? They can still guide you. My
Yeah.
5 friends, not one of them quilts, not one of them does anything with silk, not one of them does anything. And two of them are not doing any business right now at all.
Mm.
But they can still talk with me and they can still
Yeah.
encourage me. And I'm not in my house working alone, isolated.
Right.
So at Marco Polo, there's a free version and there's a paid
Great. I've never heard of that. Great tip. Great tip. So any of you listening, look up Marco Polo.
Marco Polo.
And, I think it might be advantageous for you. I know there's another, I don't know a lot about it, but it's school, SKOOL. And you can create your own community and it's like $9 a month or something like that. And a lot of people do a lot of business there. You may do business, you may not do business, but it's another area where it's sacred. I'm understanding. I haven't jumped into it yet, but I just might. And because it sounds like a good fit place or a good fit for people who are solopreneurs per se. And, just to get that support, just exactly what you're talking about, get that support that, maybe you should do it this way or help and it's all my understanding is from people I know who are involved in it. It's very positive. So I think we need more of that in this world to support each other, especially, I feel like the small business is the backbone of the world and everybody just kind of, excuse me for saying this, shits on us.
Yeah.
But we're the ones that keep the economy rolling. We're the ones that have the big dreamers. We're the ones that want to get out there and share all of our wonderful things that we do with the world. And so I think it could be a great resource, but I'm excited to learn about Marco Polo. I mean, it's very interesting. I've not heard that one before.
Yeah. And what I love is that it's part of the time management that I do as well.
Mhm.
Because I have family on it, I have friends on it, all of that. So and I have my accountability partner on it too.
Right.
I can leave a video and they can look at it later today, tomorrow. I mean, like
Yeah.
if you do a message, I don't know why, but when we text each other and message each other, there's an expectation that I happen to have this in my hand and I'm going to respond to you.
Right.
Whereas Marco, there's no expectation of that.
Mhm.
And so it's like, well, I'll get on in the morning and I'll do my dialogue. And it's like my other partners, it's not like we have to have a background or anything. It's like we are in the bathroom putting our makeup on and going, hey, how you doing? This is my life. menopause
Yeah.
crappy. I had a hot flash last night, couldn't get any sleep. So today I'm not working on anything.
And we all have those days. I don't care who you are, we all have those days. And it's called life. And it's
Yeah.
it's just called life and being part of life.
Yeah.
Well, we probably could sit here and talk for hours. There's no doubt about it. I have very much enjoyed sharing you with the world that gets to see you on this podcast. And I'm very honored and grateful that you said yes and that we did this today. And I can't wait for I would love to hear comments from people. And one last thing, how do people find you? I don't want to forget to put that out there, but how do people find you?
My basket of faith. So I'm on my website is mybasketoffaith.com. On Facebook, I'm under Candace Futch, silk artist. Yeah, but my basket of faith.
Mybasketoffaith.com. And I'll put that in the description too, to make sure that, and we'll create a link that they can go to your website. So I thank you all. Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Candace, for being here. And I thank each and every one of you who continue to watch my podcast. I'm very excited to bring fresh, new, different things to this podcast, all within the quilting world, crafting world, of different things that people create and make, because I think you need to see all these fun, heartwarming items that people come up with. And so from me to you and Candace, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new podcast. There's always something new to learn. See you next time.